Om Ajnanathimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chukshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaye Stadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Narayanam Gurum Vande Sharanyam Bhakta Bandhavam Gauramanubhishtam Purnam Radha Dasyam Pradayakam Rupanugacharya Varyambu Rupamanchari Preshtakam Patita Pavana Bandhavam Yugacharya Narayanam Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tuise Namaha. Shama Sundara Shikanda Shekara Ismera Hasara Murali Manohara Radhikara Sika Mam Kripanide Swapriya Charana Kinkarim Kuru Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vrindai Tulasi Devyai Priyai Keshavascha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavatyai Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramu, Ramu Ramu, Hare Hare. So, first of all, I would like to begin offering my most humble obeisances to the dust of the lotus feet of Paramardatama Sri Guru Pada Padma, Nitrila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Charya Ashtotara Sata Shri Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudeva, and to my most worshipable Shikshan Sannyasa Guru, Nitrila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Charya Ashtotara Sata Shri Srila Bhakti Vigyana Bharati Goswami Maharaj, and to all Shirupanu Gauriya Guru Varga, to all Tridandi Sannyasis, Brahmacharis, Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, and to all the assembled devotees here today, my most respectful obeisances. So by the causeless mercy of Srila Gurudeva and all our Mahabhagavatas Acharyas, we are able to assemble here one more time. So we are continuing with Sri Gopi-gita, verse number 3. Visha jala peyad vyala rakshasad varshamaruta vedyutanala vrishamayatma jad vishvato bhayat rishavate vayam rakshita muhu. O crest Jew among men, time and again you saved us cowherd maidens from the grip of death, from the poisonous water of Kaliyarad in the Yamuna, where the serpent Kaliya resided, from the python Agasur, and from the rain and terrible storm of Indra. You saved us from the whirlwind demon Trinavarta, from the firing of Indra's thunderbolts, from the dreadful forest fire, from the bull demon Aristasur, from the son of Maya named Vyomasur, and from every other kind of threat. So in this verse, the gopis, they remember all the time Krishna saved them from different types of dangers. So let's see the commentary of Srila Gurudev, Bhava Prakashika Vritti. Weeping as they perform their kirtan, the gopis tell Krishna, in the past, you protected us from various kinds of dangers and from the devouring mouth of death. You rescued us from so many times. So why are you now killing us with the arrows of your glance? You are making us burn in the fire of love, filled desire, and in the fire of painful feelings of separation from you. Now, nothing can protect us. What then was the use of protecting us before. So now the gopis, they are telling Krishna, you are now in contradiction because before you saved us many times from many different dangers, but now yourself, you're putting our life in risk. You are threatening our lives, trying to kill us with the arrows of your sidelong glances. If someone plants a tree, that person develops some attachment for it as it grows. Even if it is poisonous and he is advised by others to cut it down, he will hesitate to do so. It seems that you have forgotten this principle. You are so cruel hearted and merciless that you are cutting us down, although previously you protected us and watched us grow. Visha Jalapayad. Visha Jala means poisonous water. The gopis refer to the serpent Kaliya, who poisoned the waters of the Yamuna river. They say, with these virulent vapors, Kaliya polluted the water of Kaliyarad, making it boil and foam. But you protected us from that danger. When Shri Krishna jumped into the poisoned water of the Yamuna river, it appeared that he himself was dying. Why then do the gopis say that he protected them? All the boys and calves had been playing on the bank of Yamuna at Kaliyarad, and from the mere smell of that poison, they fell to the ground as if dead. Krishna immediately restored their life by his glances, which are full of life-giving nectar. Determined to send Kali away, he then jumped into the Yamuna. The gopis continue, if you had died, we would have also died. And Nanda Baba, Mother Yashoda, and all the Brajabasis would have died. To protect us all, you subdued Kaliya, and he left this place. The water became pure once more, and everyone was safe. So, in this line, clearly gopis are describing how Krishna protected them by by sending Kaliya away and making the water of Yamuna very clear again. Next line is Vyala Rakshasad. Vyala means snake. And here the gopis refer to Aghasur, the great snake demon, who laid on the road with his mouth wide open, waiting to swallow Krishna. The calves and cowherd boys were running and frolicking here and there, and gradually, as they played, they came closer and closer to the demon. What a magnificent cave, they exclaimed when they saw Aga's open mouth. It looks like a serpent, but it can't be. No serpent could be that huge. Still, even if it is a serpent, there is no harm in going inside. If he tries to swallow us all, then Krishna will kill him immediately. And if it is a cave, then obviously there is no harm. We should go in and find out. This is what all the sakas they told. Krishna was watching all this from afar. And he said, friends, don't go in. He cried out, but they did not hear him and did not look back to check with him. They walked into the mouth of the demon, who kept his mouth open as he sat and waited for Krishna to enter. That day was Baladev's birthday, so he had not gone out to herd the calves with Krishna. His mother, Rohini Devi, had kept him at home and told him, today we will perform ceremonies for purification, give cows in charity, and busy ourselves for the occasion. So if you can connect this is the same day when Lord Brahma, he stalls the calves and the cows. This is the same connecting lila when Baladev was also not present at that time. So Shri Krishna, he creates situations like this when it is necessary for the performance of his sweet pastimes. If Baladeva had been with him, he could not have performed the Brahma Vimohana Lila, his divine pastimes of bewildering Brahma. The pastime with Agasur was the prelude of this pastime, which took place later that same day. Baladev would not have been able to keep the event secret. He would certainly have told Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba that Krishna had expanded himself into all the cowherd boys and calves, and then all of Braj would have come to know of it. If this had happened, a myriad of loving exchanges could not have taken place. So even Baladev, he was bewildered in this pastime. No? We know that only after 1 year, actually by Krishna's mercy, he could understand that Krishna had become all the calves and the friends and the cowherd friends. So when Krishna killed Agasur, Brahma saw the glaring effulgence of Agasur's life air coming out from Agasur's head and remaining suspended in the sky. Then, when Krishna came out of Agasur's mouth, Brahma saw that light descend and enter Shri Krishna's lotus feet. Brahma was astonished. How is this possible? He thought. Others intently tried to attain liberation without success, but this demon attained it just by taking Krishna within his mouth with the purpose of killing him. Brahma then witnessed another Krishna's wonderful pastimes. He's assuming the forms of all the calves and cowherd boys. Krishna's primary objective in performing this transcendental pastime was not to bewilder Brahma. Rather, within his heart, he was aware that many of the elderly gopis wanted to nourish him as their son, and that many of the cows wanted to nurture him as their calf. And he thus made an arrangement to fulfill their desire. This was one of the several reasons that his Yoga Maya potency inspired Brahma to witness the Agasur pastime. So here Srila Gurudev clearly he explains some of the reasons why Krishna has performed this Brahma Vimohan Lila. And there is another one very secret reason is that Krishna, he wanted to marry all the gopis. So in that meantime, Yogamaya, Purnamasi Devi, she announced that everyone should get married, and except Krishna. So at that time, in the form of all the sakas, Krishna, he married all the gopis, including Srimati Radhika. Krishna, he took the form of Abhimanyu, and then he also married with her. So continue here. Now in Gopi-gita, the gopis say, if all the boys had died within the body of Agasur, everyone else in Braj would have died as well, including us. We could have easily died. Why did you bother protecting us then, if you want to kill us now? The word Varsha Maruta in this verse refers to Indra, the king of heaven. Varsha means rainfall. Marut means tremendous windstorm. And Vidyut means thunderbolt. So the gopis tell Shri Krishna, by holding Giriraj Govardhan on the tip of your smallest finger, you protected us from Indra's inundation of rain, fierce tempest, and furious hurling of thunderbolts. In fact, you not only protected us, you overwhelmed us with great happiness at that time. The word Annalat means from fire. Krishna saved the Brajabasis from two great fires. One of each took place in the forest near Bandirvan. There, in the shade of a massive banyan tree known as Bandirvat, Krishna was playing with his cowherd friends as the cows drank the water of the Yamuna and grazed on the lush green grass. Gradually, the cows wandered away from Krishna and the boys and entered Munjatavi, a forest of prickly munja plants that was some distance away. It was summer, and the scorching heat dried the forest, which was so dense that the cows lost track of the path by which they had come. Overwhelmed by thirst and heat, they become most perturbed. The cowherd boys began to search for the cows, and in doing so, they left Krishna and Balaram. They entered Munjatavi and, like the cows, became agitated by excessive thirst and intense heat. It was then that the wicked Kamsa's servants, who had been hiding in the forest, set the grass and trees ablaze. Within a moment, a wind flushed the fire throughout the area, leaving both the cows and cowherd boys caught in its center. Seeing no other means of escape, they all began to cry out to Krishna and Balaram. Immediately upon hearing their distressed call, Krishna and Balaram came in their midst. And he said, "Close your eyes for just a moment," Krishna told them. And in that moment, he swallowed the terrible forest fire. The boys considered why Krishna might have told them to close their eyes. They thought, Krishna must know a mantra for putting out fire, and maybe that mantra can only be recited in a very secluded place. If we shut our eyes, he will feel that he is alone. There was another reason why Krishna told them to close their eyes. Once before, when he was still a small boy, the boys had seen him eating earth, and they had complained about it to Mother Yashoda. So now he thought, if they see me eating fire, they will complain to Mother again, and she will punish me. Besides this, if my friends see me swallowing the entire fire, they will think that I will surely burn up, and their life air will depart. So it's very nice reactions that Krishna thinks that the sakas they may have by seeing him eating and swallowing all that forest fire. He was afraid that they would complain to Mother Yashoda again, as when he ate earth in Brahmanda Ghat. So when, after a moment, the boys opened their eyes, they saw themselves once again standing with Krishna and Balaram in the cooling shade of Bandirvat, their cows peacefully lying nearby and chewing their cud. Was that a dream? They wondered in amazement. Referring to this forest fire, the gopis now say, "You protected us at that time." By these words, they imply, if all the cowherd boys had died in the fire, their fathers and mothers would have died also from grief, and we gopis would also have died. By protecting all of Braj in this way, you protected us as well. With the phrase Vrisha Mayatmaja, the gopis mention yet another instance of Krishna's protecting them. Vrisha Mayatmaja refers to two demons, Vatsasur and Vyomasur. The word Vrisha refers to Vrishabhasur, another name of Arishtasur, the gigantic bull demon. And the word Atmaja means son. Conjoined with Vrisha, Atmaja refers to the son of Vrishabhasur, namely the calf demon Vatsasur. Atmajad is also conjoined with the word Maya, thus referring to the son of the demon Maya named Vyomasur, whom Krishna killed in Kamyavan. When Krishna first began taking the calves out to graze in Vrindavan, Vatsasur appeared in their midst. As soon as Krishna and Baladev saw him, they understood that he was not one of their calves, but a demon in disguise, and they crafted a plan to kill him. They innocently wandered over to him, and then Krishna grabbed his two hind legs and whirled him around and around above his head. Vatsasur then assumed his original ghastly gigantic form, at which time Krishna hurled him into a tree. Seeing Vatsasur's enormous size, the cowherd boys became filled with fear and exclaimed, "He came in the shape of a beautiful calf, but just see his actual form." Vatsasur's father, the gigantic bull demon Arishtasur, was killed by Krishna at Radhakunda. Arishtasur was certainly sinful, so one may wonder how he could have entered the pristine area of Radhakunda. He was able to do so only because Yogamaya permitted him to enter. In order to facilitate Krishna's pastimes of killing him and subsequently intensifying the gopis' prema. He had entered the village of Vrindavan when Krishna was eager to perform ras. Krishna killed him and protected all the gopis, and then the rasa dance began. Well, here we have a very interesting point to um, explain is that you know that all the appearance of these demons only happen in this Prakata Lila, right? Only in this Bhoma Vrindavan, the pastimes of killing demons. It's not Nitya pastime. This is not Nitya Lila. In Aprakata Lila, there is no demons. Krishna is never killing demons there. There is no even the presence of demons. But there is one thing, which is uh, the feeling of the presence of possible demons. So just by the fear that gopis feel from any type of danger in Aprakat Lila, then they automatically will search shelter in Krishna. They will seek for Krishna's shelter. And Krishna, he will be ready to protect them. So in this material world, this fear, it manifests like physically as many demons, okay? But originally, there is no demons. There is only the fear of any type of threat, any type of danger, any type of things which can make gopis, ask Krishna for protection, right? So in this way, why Jogamaya, she allow this demon to enter Radha Kunda, which is the most like the highest place, like no strange personalities can go there. But the presence of that demon could increase the gopis' prema and the gopis' attachment for Krishna and the gopis' feeling of depending on Krishna for each and everything. So only with this sake is that this Arishtasur, he could go in Radha Kund. So this is all very much beautiful arrangements of Yogamaya, and how gopis, they are always somehow extracting from each and every situation a way of increasing their prema for Krishna. So in the same way, Krishna is also trying to arrange so many different types of situations so that he can provoke the prema of gopis and make it increase. As in the same way, he's doing that by leaving rasa dance. So his strategy also of leaving this ras and making gopis feel like this is also to increase their prema. So when they will meet again, they will again come into a very intense type of pastimes. Okay, so let's continue here. Krishna also protected the gopis from the demon Shankachura, who tried to kidnap them by driving them along with a stick as if they were she-goats, finally taking Srimati Radhika upon his shoulders. One may wonder, how is it possible for a demon to touch Srimati Radhika? And the answer is that in order to facilitate Krishna's human-like pastimes, Naralila, Jogamaya arranges miraculous incidents. Actually, it was not possible for Shankachura to touch Srimati Radhika. Since Krishna can do anything, the form of Shankachura may have been a manifestation of Krishna himself. This is something also very much like secret, in the sense you're not gonna like hear this so often. Srila Gurudeva is saying that Krishna himself could manifest as Shankachura. So sometimes with the purpose of making Radhika run into his arms, he may frighten her by assuming the form of a serpent. He performs unlimited pastimes such as these, and according to his desire, Yogamaya makes all necessary arrangements. Shri Krishna protected his associates from the horse demon Keshi, the cart demon Shakatasur, and the crane demon Bakasur, the ass demon Dhenukasur, and so many others. The gopis continue, Rishabate Vayam Rakshitamuhu. You have shielded us from a myriad of calamities and from innumerable terrifying forms of death. But now you are killing us. If you desire to kill us now, why did you protect us on so many other occasions? So this is the main questions of gopis in this verse. Right? If he want to protect them, so before, so why he's killing them right now? In his Saratra Darshini commentary, Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur reveals the meaning of the gopis' words. He says, the gopis say, we are dying due to the effects of your 5 arrows. We have come to you for protection, but we find that your 5 arrows have merely increased our kama, divine passion, and the burning of our hearts. Krishna himself is Kamadev, the transcendental Cupid. He has enchanted the gopis by shooting at them the arrows of his lotus eyes, and by his mellifluous flute playing, his beautiful lips, his solitary talks with them, and his broad chest. He is addressed as he's addressed in the Kama Gayatri mantra as Pushpabana, he who shoots the flower arrows to enamor the gopis. This transcendental Kamadev can enchant the mind of the Kamadev of this world, and therefore the gopis appeal to him to extinguish the fire caused by Kamadeva's 5 arrows. So what are the 5 arrows just described here? Number 1, Krishna's, the arrow of Krishna's lotus eyes, Krishna's sidelong glances. This is one. Second one is Krishna's flute playing. Then his beautiful lips. Then the intimate talks between Krishna and gopis. And 5th, Krishna's broad chest. There is a verse further that Srila Gurudeva he explains in more details about these 5 arrows, okay? Now he's just briefly mentioning them. But later he goes in much more details about that. So the gopis say, at present, we see that you are Vishwasaghati, a betrayer of another's faith. The inherent meaning of the Sanskrit word Vishwasaghati is conveyed with the following words. I slept with my head in your lap, fully trusting that you would protect me. But while I slept, you took a sword and killed me. In this mood, the gopis are saying, you protected us many times in the past. So we trusted that you would surely protect us now. Having given up everything we have and offering you our very existence, we came to you. But now you callously betray us. Even though we are dying, you do not protect us. So why gopis are dying? They're dying in separation and also dying due to the 5 arrows. Krishna, he pierced them with the 5 arrows. And what he did after? He left them suffering. Just like that Mrigari, that hunter that Narada Muni made a disciple. He used to kill the animals by making them suffer slowly, slowly. He used to shoot them in such a way that they wouldn't die immediately, but very slow, because he was taking pleasure by seeing those animals dying, like suffering with so much pain, gradually, by and by. So in the same way, gopis, they are saying that Krishna is doing like this to them. Now they are like struggling with 5 arrows in their bodies, and Krishna is not there either to save them or to, say anything to them. So now they are going completely mad. They don't know what is happening. They feel completely like puzzled. And Krishna called them. Krishna put inside them that desire. If you remember the previous verse, Krishna has put inside them that desire. For what? For Surat. And after everything is arranged, Krishna suddenly leaves the rasa dance. Now gopis, they cannot understand what is going on. What mistake they could have done, or what is wrong, and what Krishna is doing. Everything he needs is here, means us gopis. He does not need anything else. So why he left us? Now they cannot understand anything what is going on. So let's continue here. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur says that some of the pastimes the gopis mentioned here will actually take place after Rasa Lila. So this is also another issue, which like a chronological issue, which Srila Gurudev explains very nicely. We would expect the gopis to talk about events that took place before Rasa Lila, but how can they speak about future incidents? So Srila Gurudeva, he puts a footnote here. He says, Srila Sanatana Goswami reconciles this in his Brihad Vaishnava Toshani commentary. He explains that even though the killing of Vyomasur happened after Rasa Lila, the gopis were able to mention it because of their natural power of omniscience, means Swabhavika Sarvagyata Shakti. When the gopis experience unbearable separation, spurtis or visions of Krishna's pastimes in past, present, and future manifest spontaneously in their hearts. This is how they came to know about the killing of Vyomasur, which would actually take place in the future. Thus, due to their madness in separation from Krishna, they refer to it as if it had happened in the past. So we know that these pastimes in Vrindavan, they are actually Madhurya, in the sweetness pastimes. But even though gopis, they are displaying a lot of opulence, a lot of Aishwarya, if the gopis, they can see future and they can become like omniscient, it means a lot of Aishwarya. This is not more like human-like pastimes. No? So we can understand that is that Vrindavan is not deprived of Aishwarya. Vrindavan has much more Aishwarya than Vaikuntha, even much more. But the point is that all the Aishwarya in Vrindavan is actually just like a drop inside the ocean of sweetness. So many times Krishna also, he displays Aishwarya in Vrindavan, many times, and the gopis as well. But they are not bewildered by that. They can easily go through those situations and continue keeping that in connection with the Madhurya pastime. That does not make the Madhurya decrease. Actually, that is only increasing Madhurya. Okay? So all Aishwarya in Vrindavan, it's actually nourishing Madhurya, not obstructing Madhurya. That's very, very important. On the contrary, in Vaikuntha, all the Aishwarya obstructs all the Madhurya. You can't let Madhurya flow in Vaikuntha because there is so much Aishwarya, so much that obstructs, does not allow that to flow. So let's continue here. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur explains that these future events were common knowledge to the gopis. They had heard about them long before from Purnamasi Devi, Gargacharya, Bhaguri Rishi, and other sages. They had also heard from many persons about Krishna's horoscope, and they are now repeating what they had heard. So now this is the Madhurya solution for gopis omniscient. Now they haven't seen everything. They have just heard and they're just repeating. So it didn't come from them. So Srila Jiva Goswami says that Srila Shukadeva Goswami, in his description of the gopis Purvarag up to Rasa Lila, means Srimad Bhagavatam 10.21 to 33, was in a very rasic mood. So it means the mood of Shukadeva Goswami is very rasic mood when he's describing the Urvaraga feelings of gopis leading to Rasalila. Consequently, he related only Shri Krishna's sweet, loving pastimes. He did not relate Krishna's pastimes of killing of demons, which by ordinary estimation may be considered cruel or unpleasant. He recounted the gopis Purvarag, Krishna's beautiful pastime with the wives of the Brahmanas, Yagyapatnis, his lifting Giriraj Govardhan, and his pastimes with the cowherd boys and gopis in autumn and summer. Srila Jiva Goswami says that because of Srila Shukadeva Goswami's deep mood, there were occasions when he rearranged the chronology of his narrations according to that mood. So this is the third explanation. You understand? This is the third explanation why gopis, they could see the future and they could speak about different pastimes. Now the reason is Shukadeva Goswami, he was in bhav. He was in bhav. He was with mood completely exalted. Therefore, in order not to break that flow, he preferred to continue speaking only about Rasa Lila Katha and leave the pastimes with the demons for later. So therefore, he twisted the chronology. Okay. And I'm going to give you a spoiler a little bit, which comes by the end of Gopi-gita, but something which links here. Srila Gurudev, he says that actually Shukadeva Goswami, he was in Manjari Bhava when he spoke all these things. So this is very, very special revelation of Srila Gurudev. So the explanation given by Srila Jiva Goswami seems to contradict that of Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur, but both explanations are correct. In different kalpas or millennia, Krishna performs his pastimes in different sequences. This is Srila Jiva Goswami's explanation for that. As mentioned earlier, the gopis accuse Krishna of being a betrayer of faith, Vishwasagati. From ancient Indian history, I will now relate a story to illustrate the grief arising from betrayal of faith. The great Buddhist king Ashoka of India built a university called Vishwavidyalaya in the very beautiful hilly region named Nalanda near Patna. So now I will tell you, Gurudeva is going to move completely away from the mood of Rasa Lila. He's going to speak about something completely different, but it's a very nice story about what he's going to say. So now he's talking about the Buddhist Emperor Ashoka, who spread Buddhism everywhere and who was responsible for creating a very huge university called Nalanda University. It's like the second biggest in the ancient times. So at that time, Nalanda Vishwavidyalaya was quite famous. Students came there from all over the world to study Vedanta and all the other schools of philosophy. One of the students was Kumarila Bhatta. Let's see in the footnote who is Kumarila Bhatta. Was an 8th century Hindu philosopher and a Mimamsa scholar from Prayaga. He is known to have defeated many Buddhist scholars of his time in philosophical debates. So this Kumarila Bhatta, who from his childhood had studied the Vedas, Upanishads, Smriti, and other scriptures. He had also studied Karma Mimamsa philosophy, and now he wanted to study Buddhism in order to defeat it. Knowing him to be very intelligent, the university authorities were willing to admit him. He studied there for 12 years, and by his final year, his scholarship was famous. One day, as the Buddhist principal was teaching a class, he recited a verse from the Vedas and then explained it in a way that contradicted the actual meaning. He mocked the ideas of the Vedas, calling them bogus. When Kumarila Bhatta heard this, he began to weep. He's crying, the other students commented. Perhaps he's a Vaishnava or a member of some other sect. In any case, it is obvious that he's not a Buddhist. Because this university, it was about different subjects, but it was a Buddhist university. It was to spread Buddhism. So although they were studying other things, it was to defeat the Vedic, like Vedanta, and other things like. But this Kumarila Bhatta, he went there for the opposite, to learn Buddhist philosophy, to defeat it. So the principal of the school called for Kumarila Bhatta and asked, "Why are you weeping?" And then he said, "Your explanation is contradictory and useless. This is not the actual meaning of the cited verse." Then the teacher said, "Please give your explanation." Kumarila Bhatta explained the verse wonderfully, but when he finished, his fellow students were resentful and conspired to kill him. Accosting him, they seized him and took him to the top of the tall building. "We are going to throw you off," they told him. "If your God is really true, and if the Vedas are also true, you will be protected. Otherwise, you will simply die." So Kumarila Bhatta, he concurred. "You are correct," he said. "If the Vedas speak the absolute truth, and if my God is real, then no harm will come to me." They threw him off that building onto the ground below and then ran down, fully confident that they would find him dead. Instead, they saw him walking and talking, uninjured, except for a broken finger. They firmly took hold of him and asked him derisively, "If you were actually fully protected, why did your finger get broken?" And then he said, "I made the mistake of saying, 'if my God is real.'" He replied, "Had I not said 'if,' I would not have been injured at all." So he broke his finger because he said "if." He should have said, "Yes, my God is real and I'll be protected." So Krishna gave him just a small broken finger. So Kumarila Bhatta, he soon preached so boldly against Buddhism that it was driven out of India into China and various other places. While Shankaracharya's philosophy helped achieve this to some degree, the real credit for driving Buddhism out of India belongs to Kumarila Bhatta. So why I said it was interesting, because not many people know about that. Mostly we know that was due to the influence of Shankaracharya. But here Srila Gurudeva, he quotes a very deep, what to say, a history of India. No? So despite his accomplishment, Kumarila Bhatta deeply grieved in his last days for what he saw as a grave mistake. The principal of that university was my guru, he thought. At the end of his life, he was tormented by the thought that an insignificant disciple had defeated him, and he died of grief. "I am Vishwasaghati. I have betrayed my guru, who taught me so much. He helped me to make my life successful. He gave me the knowledge which I used to drive Buddhism out of India, and yet I betrayed him." So Srila Gurudeva, he puts a footnote here, and he says, "Vedic culture has become corrupted in Kali Yuga. In ancient times, disobeying one's guru was only considered an offense if the guru was genuine. But as time passed, according to the distorted teacher-disciple ethics that were upheld by the Smartas, a disciple would honor the instructions and advice of his teacher, even if he were not bona fide. If he disobeyed his teacher, he would feel that he did wrong, regardless of whether the teacher was genuine or not. The disciple in the Vaishnava culture is advised to reject any unqualified teacher without feeling the slightest guilt." It means that this Kumarila Bhatta, he felt that he betrayed his guru, although his guru was teaching against Vedas. But because the teacher somehow, gave him a lot of knowledge, which helped him to remove Buddhism, still he was feeling that, oh, I shouldn't have done like this. He died due to grief, because I have, destroyed their, conceptions of Buddhism. So then Srila Gurudeva, he makes very clear point here. Only smartas, they think like so. But bona fide Vaishnavas, they should reject any guru if he's not bona fide. Doesn't matter how much he gave you. This is a type of sentimentalism and a type of like false respect and false type of prestige that you give to someone, because that person is not actually giving you knowledge which can really help you. Actually, he's depriving you from real knowledge. If he preaches against Vedas, or if he preaches any type of apasiddhanta, he's not helping you. He's not giving you knowledge. He's giving you apasiddhanta. He's actually blocking the true knowledge to come to you. So in that sense, you should reject that guru immediately and not think twice and not become like this, oh, he gave me so much. He instructed how to chant Harinam. He helped me. No, this is sentimentalism. This is not Siddhanta. He was actually using this knowledge to get something from you. He was using Harinam, he was using Bhakti to actually use you and to betray you. Actually, the Guru is a betrayer, right? But we see many people behaving like this. I can give one example of something which happened with me, for example. I won't mention names, but I went once to one ashram, okay? And there was a guru and his disciples there. And I stayed there for 1 month. They gave me shelter. It was, during this pandemic time even, in the very beginning of this pandemic. And anyway, I stayed there. I didn't know much about them, but as I stayed, I could, see and watch many things. And after I left that place, I came to know about something strange which was happening there. And then I inquired from one of his disciples, what was this? What was this thing? And like to clarify things. And the first answer that disciple gave me was, oh, how can you criticize my guru? He gave you shelter. He helped you so much. How can you speak anything against him? I say, look, if he kills someone tomorrow, am I not able to speak against him just because he gave me shelter for 1 month? This is nothing. So this is your sentimentalism. This is your way to protect his misdeeds. But I'm not going to stop myself. Even if he had given me like shelter for whole life, or even he has given me $1 million donation, doesn't matter. If he does something which is against our Siddhanta, against our Dharma, we have to expose that. We have to stop that. Otherwise, you are accepting bribe, right? If someone say, oh, he gave you this, he gave you that, then you shut up, you don't say anything. This is a bribe. Then I am corrupted. Not possible. Never possible. So in the same way, it happens here. So now, let's continue here. So desiring to atone for what he considered to be his sin, he made a pile of rice husks and set fire to it. When the rice husks burn, they smolder and look as though they are not burning. Flames will only appear if the fire is feigned. So Kumarila Bhatta, he lay down to that pile of smoldering rice husks and burned as if he were being slowly cooked. Although in extreme pain, he remained lying there. At that time, Sri Shankaracharya's follower approached him and said, I have come to beg something from you. And Kumarila asked, what do you wish for? He said, I beg you to come out of this fire and debate with me on the new Advaitavada philosophy devised by Shankaracharya, which is so beautiful. I want to defeat you because you are a Smarta and you believe in the Vedas. Hmm. So the guy is dying there, he's burning, and the Shankaracharya's sannyasi comes and says, "Hey, get out from this fire, let's debate." This is unbelievable, huh? How can we conceive such thing? And then he's saying, "Oh, I'm dying now." Okay, that's like very clear, huh? I don't want to pollute my mouth with Advaitavad, Kumarila Bhatta replied. So please go away. I will not talk about this non-Vedic philosophy. So he uttered as his life slipped away. This is a historical fact. It is not directly relevant to Gopi-gita, Srila Gurudev says, but I wanted to take this opportunity to relate this story. You should know this history because it will help you understand how the preaching of Vedanta developed. So you can see clearly here that Srila Gurudev, he just took the opportunity. Maybe this thing was in his mind since very long and he could not fit that in any book, anywhere. And he just chose to put this in this commentary of Gopi-gita. This is very interesting and very nice to hear from Srila Gurudev. Himself, he says, I know this is not relevant to Gopi-gita directly. But anyway, I want to, make this point and keep it, for future history, so people can understand how Vedanta preaching developed like. So in this way, we end the commentaries of Srila Gurudev on the third verse of Sri Gopi-gita. Hare Krishna.